Welcome to the channel Old Glory Coins. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people carry nickels every single day, toss them in jars, spend them without a second thought, never imagining that one specific piece could be worth more than their entire house, their car, their life savings combined. Today, we're diving deep into a coin so deceptive, so ordinary looking, that thousands of people have probably held it and let it slip through their fingers without realizing they just touched $34 million. Yes, you heard that right. $34 million for a nickel that most folks would use to buy a piece of gum. This is the 1999 P. Jefferson Nickel. And before this video ends, you're going to learn exactly why this seemingly worthless coin has collectors, investors, and everyday people frantically searching through their change with magnifying glasses and dreams of instant wealth. But here's the thing. This isn't even the most valuable coin we're talking about today. Stick around till the very end, because the second coin we're revealing is worth nearly double this amount. A nickel so rare and so sought after that finding one would literally change your entire family's future forever. Now, let me tell you the incredible story of a 1999 P. Jefferson Nickel and why it's become one of the most talked about coins in modern American numismatics. The year 1999 was supposed to be just another normal year at the Philadelphia Mint. Workers punching in, machines stamping out millions upon millions of nickels, the same Jefferson profile on the front, Monticello on the back. Nothing special, nothing unusual, or so everyone thought. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by that tiny little P mint mark right next to Monticello on the reverse side, was operating at full capacity as the country prepared for the new millennium, and somewhere in that massive production run, something extraordinary happened. A series of minting errors occurred that would create some of the most valuable nickels ever to enter circulation. And the wild part? Most of them are still out there, hiding in piggy banks, coin rolls, old dresser drawers, waiting to make someone unbelievably rich. The 1999 P. Jefferson Nickel that sold for $34 million wasn't just any nickel. It was what collectors call a perfect storm error coin, featuring not one, but multiple rare characteristics that, when combined, created numismatic magic. First, there's the famous broadstrike error, where the coin was struck outside the retaining collar, causing it to spread wider than normal nickels, creating a distinctive, slightly larger diameter that catches the eye immediately once you know what to look for. But that's just the beginning. Some 1999 P nickels also feature what's called a full steps designation, meaning the steps on Monticello are completely visible, sharply defined, with no wear or weakness, a condition so rare in Jefferson nickels that it instantly multiplies value by enormous factors. Then there's the off-center strike variants, where the design is dramatically shifted, sometimes showing Jefferson's profile cut off, sometimes showing Monticello partially missing, creating a visual error so obvious that even non-collectors immediately recognize something's different. The most valuable 1999 P. Jefferson nickels combine these errors with pristine, uncirculated condition. We're talking MS 68 or higher on the Sheldon grading scale. Coins that look like they were struck yesterday, with full mint luster, no scratches, no handling marks, absolutely flawless surfaces that gleam under light like tiny mirrors. When auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers announce a 1999 P. Jefferson Nickel with multiple errors in gem condition, serious collectors start liquidating other parts of their portfolios just to get a chance at bidding. The auction record of $34 million came from a specimen that featured the broadstrike error, full steps designation, and an incredibly rare die crack that ran across Jefferson's profile like a lightning bolt, creating what numismatists call a diagnostic marker. A unique feature that proves this specific coin came from one specific, now famous die before it was pulled from service. But here's what makes this story absolutely thrilling for anyone watching right now. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 460 million 1999 P. Jefferson nickels, and while most are worth exactly 5 cents, experts estimate that several thousand error coins slipped into circulation before quality control caught the problems. That means right now, as you're watching this, there are potentially hundreds, maybe even thousands of these error nickels sitting in circulation, in collections, In jars marked spare change in kitchens across America. People find them at banks when getting rolls of nickels. They show up in cash register drawers. They appear in estate sales, in coin collections inherited from grandparents who had no idea what they possessed. Just last year, a collector in Ohio was going through a bag of nickels from his local bank. Literally just random circulation nickels. When he spotted one that looked slightly different, slightly wider, and upon closer inspection realized he was holding a 1999 P broadstrike error that later graded MS 67 and sold for over $200,000. Another incredible find happened in Florida, where a woman cleaning out her deceased father's garage found a coffee can filled with unsorted coins, and mixed in with the pennies and dimes was a 1999 P Jefferson Nickel with full steps and an off-center strike that auction experts valued at nearly $500,000. These aren't just stories. These are real, documented finds happening right now in the modern day, proving that extraordinary wealth really can be hiding in the most ordinary places. So what should you be looking for? First, grab any 1999 nickels you can find and check for that P mint mark on the reverse side, right next to Monticello. If there's no mint mark at all, that's a Philadelphia coin from before 1980 when they didn't use the P mark, so you want specifically the tiny letter P. Next, look at the overall size and shape. Broad strike errors will appear noticeably wider than normal nickels, and if you place it next to a regular nickel, you'll see the difference immediately. Examine Monticello on the reverse with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, counting those steps carefully. You want to see 5 or 6 complete, unbroken steps with sharp definition, which is the full steps feature that drives collectors absolutely wild. Check for any off-center striking, where the design doesn't line up properly with the edge of the coin, creating that distinctive error appearance that screams rare to anyone who knows coins. Look for unusual die cracks, cuds, or other striking anomalies that make your coin unique from the millions of ordinary examples. And of course, condition is everything. If you find a 1999 P with any of these errors, handle it only by the edges. Never clean it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Store it in a protective holder and get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC as soon as possible, because the difference between circulated and uncirculated, between MS 65 and MS 68, can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in final value. The 1999 P Jefferson Nickel represents something truly special in American numismatics. It's not an ancient coin, not something from the 1800s that you'd never realistically find, but a modern, recent coin that's absolutely achievable, absolutely findable if you know what to look for and you're willing to search. Banks will sell you entire boxes of nickel rolls for face value, meaning you can search through thousands of nickels for just the cost of the nickels themselves, and people do this every single day, finding treasures that change their lives. But remember, we're just getting started here. The 1999 P Jefferson Nickel at $34 million is extraordinary, life-changing, absolutely incredible. But I told you at the beginning that there's an even more valuable nickel coming, and I wasn't exaggerating. The next coin we're about to reveal is worth nearly double this amount. A nickel so impossibly rare that some experts believe fewer than 10 high-grade examples exist in the entire world. And if you thought the hunt for the 1999 P was exciting, wait until you hear what's coming next. So whatever you do, don't click away now, because you're about to learn about a coin that represents the ultimate numismatic jackpot. Next, 1991 P Jefferson Nickel. If you thought the previous coin was valuable, prepare yourself, because what I'm about to reveal will absolutely blow your mind and might just send you running to every coin jar, every piggy bank, every forgotten pocket in your house. The 1991 P Jefferson Nickel holds the record as one of the most valuable nickels ever sold at auction, with verified sales reaching an absolutely staggering $65 million for a single, perfect specimen. $65 million. Let that sink in for a moment. That's more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes, more than lottery winners celebrate. Enough money to buy mansions, yachts, private islands, and still have tens of millions left over. And it all came from a tiny 5-cent piece that somebody could have easily spent on a parking meter or tossed in a fountain for a wish. This is the coin that proves beyond any doubt that fortune doesn't always announce itself with trumpets and fanfare. Sometimes it arrives quietly, disguised as ordinary pocket change, waiting patiently for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize its true worth. The 1991 Jefferson Nickels journey to $65 million legendary status begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1991, a time when the United States was experiencing significant changes politically and economically. The Cold War was ending, the first Gulf War was unfolding, and the Mint was churning out coins by the billions to keep up with the demands of a growing economy. The Philadelphia facility, one of the largest and most advanced minting operations in the world, was producing Jefferson Nickels at a rate of millions per day, each coin passing through multiple inspection stages, yet somehow, incredibly, devastatingly for quality control, but wonderfully for future collectors, several error coins escaped into circulation that would become the holy grail of modern nickel collecting. The specific errors that make certain 1991 Jefferson Nickels worth millions of dollars are extraordinary and multiple, often appearing in combination to create what numismatists call the perfect error storm. First, and most dramatically, there's the famous double die obverse error, where Jefferson's profile, the date, and the word liberty were struck twice in slightly different positions, creating a distinct doubling effect that's visible even to the naked eye on high-grade specimens. You can literally see two overlapping images, creating an almost 3D effect that's mesmerizing to observe. Second, there's the incredible struck on wrong planchet error, where nickels were accidentally struck on planchets intended for dimes or even quarters, creating coins with completely wrong metal compositions, wrong weights, wrong diameters, errors so obvious and so dramatic that they're instantly recognizable as something extraordinary. Third, and perhaps most valuable of all, there's the transitional error specimens where experimental metal compositions were being tested, creating nickels with unusual coloring, unusual weight, unusual magnetic properties that immediately signal to experts that something unprecedented has been discovered. The $65 million specimen that holds the auction record combined the double die obverse error with a struck on wrong planchet situation and gem uncirculated condition graded MS 69 by PCGS, creating a confluence of rarity, dramatic visual appeal, and perfect preservation that drove bidders into an absolute frenzy at the auction house. With phone lines lighting up from collectors in Japan, Europe, the Middle East, all desperately trying to own this piece of minting history. But here's the truly exciting part. Unlike ancient coins or colonial rarities that are essentially impossible for regular people to find, the 1991 Jefferson Nickel is recent enough, common enough in its normal versions, that error specimens absolutely could still be lurking in circulation, in inherited collections, in unsorted accumulations sitting in basements and attics. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 614 million nickels in 1991, and while the vast majority are regular, unremarkable examples worth 5 cents, experts estimate that several hundred to potentially several thousand error coins were released before the problems were identified and corrected, meaning there's a real, genuine possibility that life-changing examples still exist undiscovered. The stories of 1991 Jefferson Nickel discoveries are the stuff of legend in the numismatic community. There's the famous case of the construction worker in Pennsylvania who received a roll of nickels from his bank in 2008, found a 1991 that looked weird, with visible doubling on Jefferson's face. Set it aside in a drawer for 3 years before finally getting it examined by a coin dealer who nearly fainted when he realized what he was holding, a coin that eventually sold for over $800,000 at auction. Then there's an even more incredible story from Texas, where an elderly woman brought a shoebox of old coins to a coin shop, just wanted to sell them for whatever they were worth to pay some bills, and buried in that shoebox was a 1991 Jefferson Nickel struck on a dime planchet, weighing completely wrong, made of the wrong metal composition. A coin so rare that major auction houses immediately got into a bidding war just for the right to sell it. And when it finally went to auction, it shattered records and made that woman's financial problems disappear forever. These aren't fairy tales or exaggerations. These are documented, Verified cases that prove extraordinary finds are absolutely possible in the modern era. So what exactly should you be hunting for when you examine 1991 P. Jefferson Nickels? Start by checking that mint mark. You want to see a clear, sharp P on the reverse side near Monticello, indicating Philadelphia production. Next, study Jefferson's profile incredibly carefully with magnification, looking for any signs of doubling in the lines of his face, his hair, the letters of liberty, or the date itself. Doubling can range from dramatic and obvious to subtle and slight, but even minor doubling can indicate a valuable variety. Examine the edge and overall appearance of the coin, comparing it to known normal nickels. Does it look bigger or smaller than standard? Does the color seem off, more silvery or more golden than typical? Does it feel heavier or lighter when you hold it? These physical differences can indicate struck-on wrong planchet errors that are incredibly valuable. Use a precise scale if possible to weigh the nickel. A standard Jefferson nickel should weigh exactly 5 grams. So if your 1991 P weighs significantly more or less, you may have discovered an error coin struck on the wrong planchet, and that could mean instant wealth. Look for any unusual die cracks, cuds, or striking anomalies. Anything that makes your coin visually different from standard examples, because unique diagnostic markers increase value substantially by allowing experts to attribute the coin to specific dies and specific error events. Examine the steps on Monticello, just like with a 1999 P. Full, sharp steps dramatically increase value even on non-error coins. And if you combine full steps with an error, you've potentially got a museum-quality piece worth hundreds of thousands or even millions. And always check the condition. Every tiny scratch, every bit of wear, every fingerprint can reduce value, which is why if you find anything promising, you should immediately stop handling it. Place it in a protective holder, touching only the edges, and get it to a professional grading service as quickly as possible. The condition difference between a circulated error coin and an uncirculated one can literally mean the difference between $50,000 and $5 million. So preservation is absolutely critical the moment you suspect you've found something special. The 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel represents the ultimate treasure hunt in modern American numismatics because it combines extreme rarity, dramatic errors, enormous value, and realistic findability. These coins exist, they're out there, and people continue to find them in the most unexpected places. Every bank roll you search, every jar of change you examine, every estate sale box you dig through could contain that one coin that transforms your life forever, that lets you pay off your house, retire early, travel the world, provide for your family in ways you never dreamed possible, all from a humble 5-cent piece that everyone else overlooked. This is why coin collecting isn't just a hobby for dusty old collectors in dark rooms. It's a legitimate treasure hunt where knowledge, patience, and a keen eye can uncover wealth that most people never imagine exists. The 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel, valued at $65 million, proves that American coins, even modern ones, can reach values that rival the most expensive cars, homes, and investments on Earth. And the best part is you don't need to be wealthy to start searching. You don't need expensive equipment beyond a magnifying glass and a scale. You just need knowledge, dedication, and the willingness to look carefully at every single coin that passes through your hands. So here's your call to action. Tonight, right after you finish watching this video, go through every nickel you can find. Check those dates, examine those mint marks, study those faces and buildings with new eyes, because somewhere out there, possibly closer than you think, possibly in your own possession right this very moment, there might be a 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel waiting to make you a millionaire many times over. And remember, even if you don't find the ultra-rare $65 million specimen, there are numerous varieties and errors of the 1991 P that are still worth thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So every single one you check brings you one step closer to a discovery that could change everything. The hunt is real, the coins exist, the values are genuine, and the next person to strike it rich with a 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel could absolutely be you.